Welcome back to another episode of Adeek Shoft, the best podcast in the Cowcups, inshallah. One day, my friends, inshallah. This week I had the pleasure of sitting down with the one and only Rami Serry. He's a race car driver, if you guys don't know the name. He's a very, very, very awesome dude, entrepreneur. He is the drift king in Egypt. He from doing so many competitions, and I had the pleasure of sitting down with him to discuss what did we discuss? We discussed like dream chasing, and we discussed his career and everything that he's up to, and it's just a lot of golden nuggets in there, a lot of wisdom from a race car driver. Go figure. And I hope you guys enjoy it. If you guys like this podcast, please subscribe. It really helps. Hit the like button, hit the notification. I release a video every single week, a new episode of Adeek Shoft, the podcast. And thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And we will see you next week. Next week. It's that way. Yeah. So see you next week. And thank you for watching. And have a great and beautiful day. Welcome back to another episode of Adeek Shoft, the best podcast on the internet in the Middle East, coming out from the Middle East, talking about everything from entrepreneurship to artists to kull haga in between. It's an Arabic and English podcast. For this episode, we'll be speaking both, inshallah. I have a very special guest with me today in the studio, the legend, the man himself. I did some research, but I met him personally, and we just connected. There's so much love in the room, in the atmosphere, and I'm so happy that he's joining us. I'm so happy that he's here telling us his story. And Hanshuf with us today, Mr. the one, the only Mr. Rami Serry. Make some noise! I know there's no one here, but make some noise! Yeah! So Rami Serry, a renowned race car driver in Egypt, made his thing, grinded against the grain, and now he is one of the, if not the name for race car driving henna in Masr, in Egypt, putting Egypt on the map, but in a different way. Drifting. He's a drift king. I've seen his drifts. A little bit scared to get in the car with him, but I still trust him with my life because he's a Pisces like me. So help me welcome Mr. Rami Serry. He is so heavy that I had to cough. Welcome, bro.
Thanks for having me, man.
Just be casual, عادي, just be normal. Just, the mic is not there. إيه الأخبار? How are you, man?
All's good, man.
All is good.
All's good. Thanks for having me.
No, man. Thank you for doing this, Bigad. Thank you for coming on Adeek Shoft, and we'll see what Mr. Rami said. We have some questions. I know I showed up a little bit late, but هنشوف النهارده Mr. Rami Serry, the legend himself, the myth, the legend, and the myths of his legends, have traveled to distant lands. I know I'm talking you up like crazy, but I have to because I gotta give credit where it's due. For those of those three people that don't know who Rami Serry is, please tell us who you are. Who are you? Who's Rami Serry?
I'm just the father of two beautiful kids and just living life trying to get it right.
Wow. That's deep. That's very on point. على طول. Just a father, man. All right. That's cool, man. Okay. So I'm just going to jump into it. Talk to me about your struggle. Whatever it may be, a career, personal, whatever it may be. I
mean, I wouldn't really call it a struggle more than it is just always finding solutions day by day, I think it just took a lot of time to find silence in your mind, and I think that came with age. But I always knew it was too noisy in my head, and once I took care of that, things started kicking off the way that I want them to.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually. Let's talk more about that. Like, I know we hung out yesterday and talked a lot about some stuff, but most people, they have those voices. I have voices in my head, man, and I'm trying to, like today, I tried to, I tried what you taught me, and you block everything out, and you block anything negative out, and that's an amazing thing to do. شخصيا, because we all experience the negative thoughts, and I think that's interesting that you say, Linta, you're able to just turn it off and be like, okay, now I'm gonna live my best life because I don't have to deal with this noise anymore. Is that right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And once you do that, everything it's not a struggle anymore. You're just living day by day, and you're enjoying every second of it. you're stuck in the now, and all your focus is in the now. So your thoughts are not driven into the future or stuck in the past, and it's a relief, man. Thank God for that.
Wallahi, man. God bless, man. God bless you, man. I say that's a blessing to get up in the morning and just to smile and be happy. I think I wasn't planning on this to be like very full of wisdom.
Yeah.
Who knew, guys? A race car driver dropping some wisdom. Did you think about this stuff behind the wheel today?
I see. That's the thing. Behind the wheel, you're stuck in the now, and you're focused on winning. And it's anything that you touch. If you're stuck in the now, anything that you do, you succeed.
I like that. I'm just gonna, you know the questions we want, but no, because I'm interested, because you're a race car driver. That's
Right.
not usual, like for anyone that, I mean, the regular people are the tech entrepreneurs or whatever. But like you're doing hard, or you did, you've been doing it for 20 something years.
Yeah, exactly.
But why don't you tell us a little bit about that? How'd you get started? Yeah.
I mean, it all started when I was a little kid. My parents would tell me that I was obsessed with cars and with little cars. You'd come to my birthday, if you didn't bring a car, it would have been a
problem.
Like what is this? What are you bringing here?
What is this, man?
So everything evolved around cars. Watching TV evolved around cars.
Okay.
Playing games in the car with the parents. They'll play games. And what's that car coming from far away? And it'll be nighttime, and you could just see the lights like 200 meters away. And I'll call out the car. So it was just very obvious that I was into cars from a very, very young age.
Passion. It's definitely a passion.
Yes.
Passion or a dream.
It was a kid. I mean, you're a kid, and anything. I think it wasn't just the cars. It was anything mechanical. Anything that spins, moves, has a mechanical properties to it.
Okay.
It always attracted my attention.
because يعني احنا كلنا واحنا عيال, كلنا we love toys, and so I like motorcycles. I'm like, that's awesome. Like, dude, the action figures, because I grew up during that age, before the internet and all that, and I'm sure you did. طبعا, of course. You know what it's like to be a kid, but I'm like thinking to myself, you're like the only kid that like took this to the yo, I love cars. I'm a race car driver. You took it to that's awesome. بالذات في مصر كمان, because in Egypt it's very limiting, because our culture doesn't like. How did you tell your family, I want to be a race car driver? Get out of my house.
Absolutely. I went through it all. But the beautiful thing about both my parents, they were understanding and they were very flexible.
Okay.
Now that has pros and cons. The pros of it was, I expressed myself the way that I wanted to. But at the same time, they had a lot of social pressure. What are you guys doing? You're ruining the kid.
Yeah.
It's just too much.
Sure.
So we were going through all that. But I think the gist of it all is they were open to me being an athlete in any sport. Okay. It wasn't just racing came way down the line.
Aslan, okay. So until you come from an athletic family?
No, I mean, my father was a goalkeeper. He was really into football, and I was a goalkeeper as well.
Aslan, okay.
I never watched him play, but the first thing that happened when I was on the pitch was I'm a goalkeeper. I'm not. Yeah. Okay. So that was cool, and then I went into swimming for a very long time, and basketball and tennis, and every time I would enter a sport, I would excel in it. So it was just part of life. It was just part of just who I am. We didn't really put too much thought into it.
I'm the complete opposite. I did not excel at any sport. I mean, no, I was pretty good at basketball, but never like on the professional level,
right?
Or like not even professional or amateur. حتى يعني. Like I did sports. طبعا growing up in the States, but you're telling me like.
But same here. I mean, it was never the professional. It was just for fun.
Yeah, it was for fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Just being a kid, living life, right?
Being a kid, exactly.
So if you had to start all over again, would you do it?
What, with racing?
With everything.
Of course.
Okay,
of course.
But would you choose something other than racing?
No, it would probably be the same exact.
Okay. What is your line of racing, by the way? It's not Formula, it's not NASCAR,
No, I mean, I enjoy racing as a whole.
Okay,
but the thing is, what took off was drifting. I don't consider myself a drifter at all.
Okay.
Actually, I cringe when I hear the word drifting, right?
What is your thoughts on Fast and Furious 2 Tokyo Drift?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really into those movies at all. I mean, you can ask my kids, you know,
Okay.
and they're
Real fan on what?
they're always baffled, like,
What?
what?
No, I'm.
Yeah,
what?
I'm not
What?
into that. I'm
What?
not into that.
Wallah, is
No.
it? How? Like,
No,
that's,
I'm more into like I don't know if you've seen the movie Rush.
I've heard about it.
Okay, that's a true Formula One story, and it has because it has so much truth and drama in it, and struggles and
Yeah.
coming out and triumphing and all that. That's what I
So
enjoy
would you,
watching.
would you? The question is now: do you identify more with Formula One? مثلا, did you ever want to become or?
No, I always wanted to become a WRC race car driver, which is World Rally Championship, right?
Okay.
And single seater is a lot of fun. I've done that for a while.
Yeah.
Which leads you into Formula One.
Okay.
But what happened here, being here in this country, you don't have the infrastructure for that.
Yeah, of course.
And the sponsors of all that. And so when we hit the market, trying to educate the market about sponsorship culture, there was nothing to sell except for drifting. And that's why we took off in drifting.
Okay. So kind of okay. So.
Yeah.
Do what you need, kind of like fall back on the do what you need to do so you can do what
Of
you want
course.
to do.
Yeah, you got to adapt. You
I
gotta
like
adapt.
it. I like it, man. Feel the energy right now. Do you guys feel it? Everybody feels this right now. How's the recordings good? Good. كويسين? تمام? Okay, cool. All right, you have children, but this question's not about them. I know Ziad here. Shout out to Ziad in the studio with us. So what advice would you give, not your children, but your younger self?
Oh, that's a tricky one, man.
See, because you have kids and you want to give them, but what would you give your younger self?
Follow your dreams, follow your passion, follow what makes you happy. Shut out all the negative comments that come your way and put in the work. You're not going to reach your dreams. You're not going to reach what makes you happy unless you put in all the work.
I like that. Wow, that's true. Because you know when you give 50, when you give 100, when you give all that. Okay, see that came late in my life. I'm like, there's work involved.
Yeah, same here. I mean, yeah,
I have to work to be funny, you know?
I mean, I always put something into perspective when it comes to looking at the past and stuff. I was a very, very spoiled kid.
Awesome.
Everything was made for me. Everything was done for me. And then at a later age, when responsibility hit, you had to literally ربي نفسك من أول وجديد, right?
Okay.
Because you don't have the discipline, you don't have the motivation, you don't have the skill set to move forward and do the work. So you had to teach yourself from scratch.
Boom. Freaking knife race. Wow. I'm blown away right now. Because it's true. It's exactly what happened. You have to fail and I still struggle with discipline. I can't lie to myself and be like, no, I'm 100% disciplined. I go to gym every day. I love this guy. No, I don't do that, you know, fam. But when I sat down with you yesterday, I kind of got that clarity. Like, okay, I'm gonna wake up happy tomorrow, inshallah, and I'm gonna I'm not gonna It's no time for this negativity. So it's very interesting to kind of to live by that every single day. That's the difficult part, I think.
It's not even difficult, doesn't exist.
Boom, I love it. Mind is blown, you out. Allah. I did not expect this. I did not. A little bit, not gonna lie. Okay. So that's the advice you would give your younger self. So what are your biggest challenges as Rami Serry in the journey of Rami Serry, in becoming Rami Serry, whether it's the race car driver, the father, you know, the passionate dreamer? What are your biggest challenges?
I mean, if we're going to talk specific about motorsport, it was when you looked around, there was no infrastructure and there was no racing culture. The fans were not really hot fans. There were just some kids on the street just watching cars pass by and burn out. And you had to take a decision that you have to build it. And you have to build it from scratch. You're going to have to build the community. You're going to have to build the industry. You're going to have to create the image. You're going to have to build the image that will attract the fans. So you knew from day one that it was that's your responsibility. That's your role. That's your mission. And you've been doing it on your own for quite some time. by time when things started showing and appearing that, hey, there's actually something here to look at, that's when things started taking off from in terms of sponsorship and business and people actually listening to what you're doing.
Yeah.
And the fans are the ones that do all the talk. So when companies come and see 8 to 10,000 spectators in a place, and the only reason why they're only 10,000 is because we don't have space to put more people to come attend. So
Really?
that's an eye opener.
Desert.
Yeah, that's an eye opener for any company.
Okay.
And Red Bull, of course, came in and did a push in 2011.
Yeah.
2011.
Yeah.
And they came in and did a push, and we rode the wave, and we capitalized on it. And since then, things have been pretty good. I mean, they're not all
There yet.
I mean, it's not all dandy and the way that you want things to happen. But that's mainly because of your state of mind. If I didn't reach any of the things that I wanted to reach in the past 20 years of motorsport, it's solely my responsibility and my mindset. So it's not the market, it's not the people, it's not the companies, it's not the sponsorship. This is what you hear out in the community. But truly, truly, it is a manifestation of my own mind at the time. So I'm just very grateful for where I'm at now in my life, because what's coming up next and what I have in mind will blow a lot of people out of the water. And I'm just confident that, being in this state of mind, a lot of good things are going to happen in the upcoming future.
Inshallah, man. God bless, man. That's a very good answer. I mean, because I feel the same way with the comedy. And when you just said, بالنسبة اللي هو building an industry, you knew that from the beginning.
Yep.
You knew that you're taking the responsibility to build the industry, to build the fan base, to build the customer base that are going to come and to be there to view your show, your event, and all that.
Absolutely.
And it's only you that's setting yourself back, because we kind of forget, like, along the way in the process, we kind of forget, like, why am I doing this?
Absolutely.
And that's what I mentioned to you yesterday. I said, I was like, I forgot my why. What is my why? And then you just brought it back for me now. No, because it makes sense, fam. The industry is non-existent, just like you had no industry. Even harder for you. عشان هنا في مصر هيقول لك لا انت عايز تسوق عربيات يعني. With that backwards mentality that's setting us back 500 years.
Of course.
No, I want to be a professional race car driver.
Right.
Like when my dad would tell me, it's like, hey, I paid all this money for your education. Titla goes in. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, dude, no.
But I mean, once you start touring the world and everyone knows your name and you're cashing in millions, all those words just they start the people that come.
They're different words, but
they're different words, and their attitude changes towards you, and so I think that's all we need to focus on. It's just.
Let me ask you something, because I often ask myself this question as well, and I always ask myself, am I doing it for me or am I doing it to prove people wrong? So what are you doing?
For you.
Boom.
For you. No one but you.
Okay. And that's never gonna change. Never in your mind.
For the good of the people that are around you.
But you never thought to yourself, I'm doing this to just shut this noise off. I don't want to deal with these.
No.
You're still okay.
You're doing it. I'm doing it for me because of my happiness. That's it. Because if I'm happy, everyone around me will be happy. My kids, my family, my friends.
Okay, because you are what you resonate.
Exactly.
Boom! I love it. I love it. You guys feel it? You feel it? Are we good with the recording? Good. Tamam. Okay, cool. Wow. Okay, so here's another question for you, because you've been in it for a minute. Do you feel like you've quote unquote made it?
Of course.
Okay.
For the time that I'm in, yes, this is perfect. This is perfect. Have I reached what I have in my mind yet? No, of course not.
Okay.
Of course not. The goals are there, and the objectives are there, and they're coming.
Okay. But you feel like for the time being, for what you aspired to have accomplished. Okay, but what about the stuff that you haven't accomplished?
But they're coming.
For sure, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to dig deeper into this because I want to pick your mind. Man.
Yeah.
So, okay, what do you think about the whole thing about what they say? If you wanna make God laugh, tell him your plans. What do you think about that?
I haven't heard that saying. Can you elaborate further? I haven't heard that.
Like you could plan as much as you want, but if it's not what God has written for you at the time, then all that you could just throw it in the garbage.
I mean,
مش من throw it in the garbage.
yeah,
بس
I know what
it's
you
gonna
mean.
happen in a different way. الطريقة اللي ربنا كتبها لك.
I
فاهم
mean,
قصدي؟
yes, absolutely.
Okay.
That's why when I tell my kids, put in the intent, and that's all that matters. Put in the intent, and then put in the work. You going out there and building every little block on the way is not really your job, right? That's the thing. That's what people really need to focus on. You put the intent, you put in the work, right?
Yeah.
How things are going to be built is none of your business. Enjoy it. Enjoy the now. Enjoy it because you weren't created to worry about every little step of the way. You're created to enjoy the magic of life. So enjoy it. Put it in the intent, put in the work, and watch what happens.
What if it doesn't turn out? But okay, you put in the intent, but isn't the intent expectations?
No, not necessarily. It's not really expectations. It's just what you want to do that will make you happy. That's it. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's that simple.
It's that simple.
طب okay, ماشي. This is really, really deep stuff, man. This is one of the best episodes I'm doing right now, man.
thank you.
Seriously. I'm getting some really... عايز استفيد منك يعني فاهم. I want to get the knowledge as much as I can. What was my train of thought? So, my expectation, my intent for my last show, like I told you before, is that I wanted 600-700 people. Didn't turn out that way. It was 300 people. But my intent was that I was going to sell it out, not even 600-700 seats. Okay. So my intent in retrospect or in hindsight is my intention. صح?
Right.
So is my expectation. Sorry. My intent is my expectation that I'm intending for this event to go. I'm intended to have sponsors. I got sponsors and all that. But my expectation was to have a full house, but it wasn't.
Right.
So how is that not the same?
Because your intent needs to be towards what makes you happy, right? So if your intent is for the show to happen and reach its maximum potential, then you need to reach the maximum potential of your happiness. So the intent should be only focused on you going out there, putting on the best show of your life because that's what really makes you happy.
And that's what happened, actually.
And so let's say your happiness is exactly that, and you felt that rush of happiness.
Yeah.
The show up of 300, 600, and 900 shouldn't even matter. So the 300 came in, you're still happy. So what happens is people always put labels or benchmarks. So let's say you're extremely happy, you did the show of your life, you feel the happiness, but only 300 people showed up. If you take that 300 and the thought comes in and then it hits a negative emotion inside you and you continue there, you've done nothing. You've done nothing.
Boom! Rami Serry in the house. Oh my God. Wow. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. Yeah. Wallahi, that's exactly what happened. Oh man, I'm gonna cry right now. You wanna cry together, bro? Wow, this is awesome. Okay, so since we're talking about happiness, what defines happiness to you?
Gratitude.
Okay.
Gratitude. Because when you have gratitude, any negative thought that comes to your mind will not affect you negatively emotionally at all.
Why is that?
Because the thought will come in and one of the strongest emotions of negative emotions comes in and takes over is when you're not grateful. Right?
Aslan.
Yes, and people really take being grateful as just a word that comes out. It's actually shutting out that thought that comes in. So once you shut it out, you automatically become grateful, automatically. Because you don't hold on to that thought, and then you're like next. And your mind is a pretty powerful tool. It's extremely powerful.
Super powerful.
Yeah,
the most powerful actually.
So the thought comes in, and it's like, dude, why'd your friend look at you like that? What did he mean by that look? Why is he giving you the cold shoulder? Once that thought comes in, and you tell it to go away, and it doesn't exist. Your friend does not act like that with you, and the love resonates between the two of you or with your family, and life goes on as if that thought didn't even come into your mind. So it's whatever you put attention to is what happens into your life. Anything.
So perception is reality, basically.
Yes,
so if you give power to that negative thought of, مثلا, why did you look at me like that? Why?
And then you start creating scenarios in your head.
And then it starts the loop.
Yeah.
But if you're grateful, that kind of just stops. You just like, no, alhamdulillah that I have this.
Alhamdulillah, I have this friend.
Yeah, okay. I like that. That's very good. It's interesting that you didn't say masalan, not family or friends. No, you said gratitude, because gratitude is being grateful for everything.
Yep.
I like that. Fucking wise, man. Damn.
Still have a long way to go, man.
Me?
Me.
Oh, you?
Yes.
There's 5 more.
A lot to
questions.
learn, man. A lot to learn.
I mean, sure, we'll be hanging out outside the podcast. This is just for the people, man. The people don't get full Rami Serry. They only get this.
No. I mean, I have a long way to go to get it right. I'm not in any way, going out there and saying, I figured it out and stuff. No, it's just part of the journey.
Nobody figured it out, man.
Nobody, and it's okay for you to not to figure it out.
So,
it's okay. I'm grateful for that too. I mean, I fall into mistakes every day. It's normal.
I mean,
but I'm grateful for them.
It's what makes you human, right?
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so say you have a really good, this is not one of the questions,
Right.
but say you have an awesome day, right?
Right.
And it's fucking great, right?
Right.
And then something, I'll tell you an example. I had a really good show, masalan,
Right.
okay? And then I got into an accident that night, Alhamdulillah, got ala khair, but like something like that, like, oh, the day was this close.
Yeah.
And that asshole just hit my car,
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So how do you take that?
Well, I mean, that's been the story of my life, basically. Having peaks, like extreme. My kids witnessed it.
Yeah.
Peaks is in super success and everything, and then boom, all of a sudden, a big accident that whether it's financial accident, whether it's physical accident, whether it's a motorcycle accident, whether it's a loss of a car or. Anything, right? And every single experience that happened, while you're in that experience, you figure out why you got into that accident, and you're very grateful for it, extremely grateful for it. So I'll give you an example for the last one. I was on a motorcycle and I hit a pothole, and I lost control. I fell and I broke a few bones in my body. And I had to be bedridden, because if I wasn't bedridden, I wouldn't have the 3 months of silence in order for me to learn what I need to learn to move forward in the upcoming period. Because life was so loud around me that I didn't have the time to educate myself. So I had to be bedridden. I had to. And
Salamtak, dude.
And it worked well, man. Thank God that I did.
Because you silenced this.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. You silenced your mind. I like it.
Exactly.
Have you accomplished all your dreams?
No.
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 Out of like 100%, what would you say? Just scratching the surface?
Yeah, I'm just scratching the surface.
I always say that. I always say that I'm scratching the surface, but you're like what I call an advanced Pisces or master Pisces. so if you're older than me by almost 10 years, when I say that and I say I'm still scratching the surface because I feel like I'm just getting started, is that regular for us to kind of have that train of thought constantly? To kind of, is it a way to humble ourselves? Is it a way to live the process more when we say that, okay, well, let's say we haven't scratched the surface? Because you told me, like, masalan, everybody has their own process and their own journey, and everybody reaches milestones in their own success and in their own journey. You said, masalan, you witnessed great financial success at a certain period of time in your life. So, with that...
Not really.
Not really in terms of like.
Social standards. So you have peer pressure. And
Yeah.
you have, according to them,
Yeah.
like you're struggling. You don't know what you're doing, right? Right, all the time. You get labeled all the time. It really, that doesn't really matter. It's what matters is what you see ahead and how you have it figured out. I don't look at this whole financial struggle as struggling at all. It's just a period of my life that I need to go through to prepare me for what's to come.
That's it.
That's it.
What about the people that have millions in their bank's account? Do you think that they would? It depends برضو على كل حد يعني, بس do you think everybody that has reached that milestone in their life are like, all right, cool, now I'm happy?
I mean, it really depends. If they're grateful for it, of course. I
Yeah.
mean, but if you don't have a dime in your bank account and you're ungrateful, it's still the same thing. If you're grateful, then you're living the life. You are living the life.
So it's all about happiness.
Yeah, it's all about
It's all about happiness.
It's all about happiness.
Do you get sad?
I'm human, right?
No.
Yeah. I mean, sadness is good too. Sadness is good.
Balance, right?
Yeah, it's balance. It balances it out. And yeah, of course I do get sad.
And do you feel like that you immediately have to reach happiness again, or to like, if you're down here, I have to go climb back up?
Yeah, because it's addicting, right? It's like
Happiness is addicting.
It's addicting. It's addicting to always be happy. Yeah. So when you fall in and you go into sadness, you're reminded that you need to put in the work to be happy. So you grind again, and it balances it out.
I love this, man. I love it, man. It's great stuff. Okay, this is an interesting one. So, if the year was 1919, not 2019, would you still chase your dreams? Go.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Would they be different though?
I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I can't really go back into the past, but it will probably, I mean, the soul is the soul. Time doesn't really affect anything.
Time is irrelevant.
Yeah, well, when it comes to your soul, I mean, so I'll probably, racing horses or something,
Probably.
So nothing will really change.
Probably.
In a town that has no roads, so I'll probably like take the responsibility of building the roads, building the fans, building the races.
I want to talk more about that. And you, because you and I feel like we're very similar, but because you're talking about industry and building the whole thing from scratch, and it's your responsibility. And عمرك زهقت اللي انت, I'm like, oh, god damn it, I gotta educate the people, I gotta educate the sponsors, I gotta educate people. Are you sick of the rejections, the fear of failure, of not getting that answer that you wanted?
Of course. I went through it all, and it was a big part of my life. The agony.
Yeah.
The agony. And
how do you get over that?
Well, it's the part of the journey. I mean, if you interviewed me 5 years ago, this was not going to be the conversation.
Aslan.
So it wouldn't be.
Okay.
And so the agony and the rejection and complaining all the time about what is wrong with people and why is this happening.
Yes.
And
yes.
Yeah. And then later down the line, you figure out that it's all you. It's all your responsibility. Even the rejection was your responsibility.
Yeah. Elaborate on that, please.
So, I mean, every time you get rejected, there are things that are out of our control completely as humans, and I'm a firm believer that we are souls having a human experience, not humans having a soul experience. So, putting that in perspective, whatever you are emitting out of you, whether it's thought or emotions or energy,
sure.
Automatically people see right through that, and we don't understand how far that is and how accurate that is, but it happens. It could be a split-second tone of voice that will change the outcome of a meeting. It's a split second with a question and an answer. If you're not emitting at the right tone or right frequency, it will get messed up for you. So that just tells you that the Rabbina and the universe is at play here. So if you're okay, everything else will be okay.
But so you have to make sure that you're in that state of mind.
Of course.
And that's the... I because you said 5 years ago that wasn't your mentality.
Of
انت
course.
كنتش بتفكر بالطريقة دي
Of
قبل
course.
كده فهل انت... طبعا we always have to adapt to become more elevated, I guess. Learn how to become more elevated, to become more enlightened, to find that happiness. So happiness for you, I guess, was a very, very hard journey to reach.
Yeah, it was challenging.
It's challenging.
It was challenging.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
I wanted to add another question to this. We have 2 more questions left. Regarding happiness. Not regarding happiness, regarding the whole interview. It went by really quick, by the way. Like على طول. Let's just go to the next question.
Sure.
Number 10. Because I think I already talked about it. I think it was about you feeling sadness or...
Right.
Yeah. So, are you happy now?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Alhamdulillah. Okay. What's next for you?
And well, in terms of
If you don't want to, like...
no, I mean
spoil anything.
No, I mean in terms of like motorsport and stuff, we're out there to make people happy and inspire them,
Sure.
and send out a certain message. Now, not the companies and sponsors are not interested in that, right? So what we're doing is finding out what the sponsors' interests are, and then putting in the work
Backwards.
to impress them in that way, so they can fund us,
Yeah.
so we can send out the message and
Yeah.
how to make, how to inspire people and get them happy. And the projects that we do with our big sponsors always entertains people, or at least our community.
Yeah.
And it inspires them too. So we're in the talks with a few big companies about a few big projects.
Nice.
And that's what we're working on
Good
these
luck,
days.
man.
Thank you.
That's very... I mean, because I always look at, like... That's what I was telling you yesterday. I was like, okay, what's next? What's next? And what you've taught me, what I've learned from our Ada yesterday and today, is that you just start over. You just keep going.
Yep.
You just
keep
whatever, you
going.
just keep going, and you'll always constantly be in that grind. Always.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, and what people really need to understand is, if you talk to the fans about the journey of Rami throughout the years, a lot of the highlights are crisis, and that's what they become extremely passionate about. It's getting jailed by falsely accused for murder. It's taking your car being taken away while you're in the middle of a championship. It's a car getting totaled before a championship 10 days before. It's jumping into a car that you've never driven in your life, and then right on the spot, and then you win the championship. It's a lot of... So if you come to take a look at this,
It's the struggle.
It's the... Actually, the people look at it as a struggle.
But for you at the time.
When you shift... But here's the thing. At the time when I was telling you, 5 years ago, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But back when all the struggles were happening, I was so stuck in the now that everything worked in my favor. But once I get out of the crisis and everything starts flowing, I put myself into the agony but with the actual situation, I'm so stuck in the now that magic happens. And everyone used to be baffled, like, how's this happening? And that's why the story became a story. And that's why when I come back from a championship triumphed, that's why fans come flocking to the airport to come and greet me, because of the struggle and the triumph. So people really need to take their struggles in a calmer way. And when you're in a struggle or in a crisis, or you think that you are in a crisis, just get stuck in the now and watch the magic happen.
During the crisis.
Yes.
Just let it flow.
Yes.
That's
what happened every time.
That's some very good advice, man. I just imagine that last bit that you just said. It's a clip, social media, boom. Your advice about struggle. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Wallah. Okay. What's your biggest fear?
I don't have fears.
It's a very bold statement. Care to elaborate?
Because if you have fears, that's exactly what's going to manifest into your life.
That's it. That's it.
Yep.
All right, end of interview. I'm just kidding. Okay, let's take it a little bit further. You're in a profession that is constantly putting your life on the line, right?
Not really.
Not really?
Not really.
What?
Yeah, it's very safe.
لا مش فاهم. لا race car driving?
Yeah,
Say
it is. The last death that we had in motorsport was back in '94 with the great Ayrton Senna. After that, we never heard of a death.
Shman.
Because it's safe. It's very safe.
Wow, you just like took that question. Like done. So you never had the fear of like
No.
I might crash or بعد الشر ممكن يحصل أي حاجة?
No.
خالص.
At all.
Wow. Balls of steel, everybody. Hashtag
Not
balls
really,
of
not
steel.
Really, no. Not really.
Like, wow.
I mean, horseback riding is more dangerous than race car driving. People race horses all the time.
The rally drifting, it's all, yeah, I've seen some.
I mean,
I've seen some videos, man.
Yeah, I mean, but last time you heard a rally car driver die was like way back in the 80s.
But it's been safe ever since then.
As crazy as you see it on the cameras and the videos. Yeah, it's very safe, man.
How do you have all that control? And like, how do you like, because you said you have to be in the now.
Right.
Or else
you crash.
So you have to constantly be in the...
Absolutely, and that's why I love racing so much, because it really trains your mind to always be in the now. It gave me a head start in where I'm at today with life, of course. Because, and you watch race car drivers sometimes in their cars, and the split second of deterring out of the now, that's when he messes up. So, yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you something. Did you ever feel that you got into a race and you weren't in the right headspace to be in that race, مثلا? Or they always, like when it's race time,
That's it.
Always in the now.
Yep. And the thing is, people need to understand that not necessarily because you're in the now at racing, that means you're going to win. Right? So...
Let's say that one more time.
It doesn't mean that you're going to win.
Oh, okay, cool.
You can't even have expectations that, oh, but wait, I was in the now and I didn't win the race. What's going on? You can't even question that. Because you can't. Because so many things come. I mean, ask my kids. Rami Serry is not the winner of the racing community in the Middle East or in Egypt. I don't win races. It's spurts. But then again, when I look back at it, my victories is not what defined me, and that's not the reason why I work with corporates and I have a huge fan base. So I'll never put the victories as a benchmark. I'm just in the now. I win. That's very nice. That's what the universe wants. That's what Rabbina wants. If I don't win, that's what the universe wants, and that's what Rabbina wants, and then
cool,
something. Yeah, it's and then every time, and I've and the biggest triumphs and the biggest stories came out not when I won. It's the times where I got second or third, and the PR that comes out of it, and a lot of people in the community are like, dude, like you don't even win, and you still have all these things happening, and that's what people need to focus on.
And you're like in your head, say mashallah, people. Nice. Very. What's your favorite car? I don't know what to go after. What's your favorite car?
It would have to be a Pagani Zonda R.
A what?
Pagani Zonda R.
Don't know what that is, but I'm not a race dude.
Yeah.
Is it a nice?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you take a look at it, you'll understand why. It's beautiful. I mean,
all right, but that's this question.
Yeah.
How about you as a kid? Race favorite as a kid, not as an adult. Because that's a better question actually. Because you were the type of person.
Yeah, McLaren F1.
Okay,
Yeah,
that was, as a kid, and now it's the what?
Pagani Zonda R.
Pagani
Zonda R.
Zonda. I've heard of the name Zonda.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's and that's a supercar that you would wish to own one day,
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
course.
Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming here, man. I
thank
think
you,
I don't have
Hashem.
any more questions. No, it's all about gratitude, man. Thank you, man.
Thank you for having me, man. Thank you.
One last thing, if there's anything that I didn't mention that you want to say to anybody on this platform,
I think we covered it all.
what's your message to humanity?
It's just being grateful, and that's your only way towards happiness.
Boom. All right, يا جماعة, Adeek Shoft, Rami Serry, the legend himself, in the studio, our cast. Thank you for being here, man.
Thank you for
being our next episode. Tune in next time, guys. We have more guests, more content. Thank you again for being here, and thank you for your time, man. It's an incredible story.
Thank you, Hashem.
Adeek Shoft, Rami Serry, يا جماعة. Thank you,
Thank you.
and see you next time.